Good afternoon, everybody. This is There's No Crying in Crochet. We want to welcome you to our podcast today. I am Debbie of Madam Stitch, and my cohort in crime is,
I am Biz from Busy Crochet. Hi, everybody. Welcome.
and we are so glad you decided to join us today because it's a little bit of a weird episode today.
Yeah.
But both of us are a little bit on the weird side. We thought this would be fun for us to delve into. So hold on to your hats. We have some business to do first. We need to subscribe to our YouTube channels because we are always adding new things, tutorials about our patterns, things that will help you, things that will give you ideas, and of course, our podcast episodes. You can find Biz on Busy Crochet, and you can find me, Madam Stitch Crochet, on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe and like, and you'll know when we're getting ready to do something or we launch something.
Yeah.
Then, if you happen to be watching on Facebook today on one of our pages, make sure that you give StreamYard, our streaming service, permission to display your name because we love to know who we're talking to. We're personable people. We love to be talking to people. So make sure that you give StreamYard. They don't use the information for anything except
That we're aware of.
letting us know. No, that's the deal.
Well,
All right.
Dawn, I want to say hello, and she says she's a fellow weirdo as well. So
Oh,
welcome.
excellent.
Welcome all the weirdos.
Today is the episode for you. Okay. Before we start our podcast, we always ask, what's up this week? So Biz, we got a late start today, so I have
We did
no
really
idea
late.
what's going on in your life. Do tell.
Well, just some updates. That thing that Tony was having a problem with on his back, that
Mhm.
cyst, is completely gone. It's completely healed. We were actually able to do it in
Uh,
a natural way. So, which was super beneficial because then he didn't have to go under the knife at a dermatologist. Hallelujah. So anyway, that's done. He's feeling better. Other than that, we are just, you know, living life. Life's been busy. I have actually made myself accomplish things this week, which is it's taken me. I have one of those personalities that when I feel like I don't want to do it, I become overwhelmed by the fact that I have to do it. So
right.
I made myself just suck it up, buttercup, and I sat myself down and I made myself do the thing. So I got 2 patterns written this week, which, oh my god. Like there was one day, I'm not even kidding. There was one day where like I kept picking up my phone going, "God, let there be something that makes me have to go." And of course there was nothing. I'm like, "Okay, okay, okay,
Oh,
okay."
darn it.
And then yesterday I was writing up a square pattern, all of I want to say 17 rows. And after the 4th row, I'm like, "Oh, maybe I can just come back to this tomorrow." I'm like I'm like, "This is only 17 rows." There have been days when you sat here
Oh
for 6 hours
gosh.
and written patterns. Get a grip, girl. So, that's me
I
this week
know.
in a nutshell.
Well, I started a new system. It's not new like yesterday new, but I started a
Mm,
new system. So while I don't design things by drawing a beautiful picture and planning all the colors and all that stuff. I grab yarn and hook and I start crocheting. I go, this is what I think it's supposed to look like. And I've started using the Notes app on my iPhone, set it right beside me, and I write a rough sketch of each row as I make it because I forget the fine stuff, like how many did I chain
mm,
here and how many slip
mhm.
stitches did it take me to get here, and I don't want to have to go back and recreate the wheel. So that's hopefully by the time I get to the writing the pattern, it's actually already drafted. So that's
Yes,
just
how
my
nice. See,
anyway.
I have my handy dandy little notebook, and it's a big old hairy mess.
Oh,
Yeah. That's where I
but
do
you know
all of
what's
my
in it.
pattern writing. What's that? Yeah, I know
That
it's there.
you That's right.
Oh,
And you're
man.
the only one who matters when you're writing the pattern. So
Right,
there you go.
exactly. But then I have to make it so that other people can understand it, and sometimes that's hard.
Yeah, well, that's our
So,
job, so we embrace it. Um,
well, when you put it like that, she's like, "Shut
it's like,
up."
uh, I did not say that. All right.
All
So
right,
this
we're
week,
serious now.
no, we're not. Um, this week we finally, oh my goodness, we finally in one day we moved my daughter up into her new house, out of her
Oh,
apartment
nice.
and into her new house. So Saturday, she lived, her apartment's about an hour and 15 minutes away near Philadelphia. And so I drove down. We did all the picking up of the U-Haul and some boxes and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And she hired these two guys who came in and basically carried everything down in 2 hours. They
Nice.
had the truck loaded and ready to go. 2 hours.
That's awesome.
Um, and then we drove back up. My husband, my son, one of my sons, my daughter, and I had the truck unloaded in less than an hour and returned in one day
Look
by
at you
4:30
go.
in the afternoon. It was crazy. So she's finally in her house, loving life because it's so cool. Um, and I keep driving past it because it's only a mile from here. I keep wanting to turn in and go say hi, but
Hi.
she has a pretty stressful job, so I'm not gonna do that to her during the workday, although she might appreciate it. I don't know. That was the big thing. I don't know what you did on Memorial Day, but we had the entire family over, which is just 8 of us, and we cooked. It was my son is the griller, right? So he had grand plans to go out and use my fire pit to charcoal, to grill the hamburgers. There were storms passing through, but the weather said that they were gonna hold off. Well, my son has a tough time getting his wheels moving, and by the time he got started, it started to pour,
Oh, no.
and it was momentary, but it was enough to kill the fire and
Yeah.
ruin his plans.
Oh,
So
no.
he did them inside, but honestly, it's so much fun to just get together and eat and play
Yeah.
games and just chill with each other. It was really
Yeah,
cool.
we had what did we do? Saturday? No, not Saturday. Yes, Saturday. We did go grocery shopping, but that's not what you wanted to know. Monday, we went plant shopping and we went to okay, so I thought, oh, Walmart's gonna have everything, right? Because Walmart's got a garden. Oh my gosh, what a sad place that was. It was hardly anything there. So we thought, well, let's go to Home Depot. Well, on the way to Home Depot, there was a Lowe's, and we're like, oh, well, let's just stop there first, because if we can just avoid the whole corner, there's a whole corner that you got to go to Home Depot. Anyway, so we stopped in Lowe's because we don't shop there, so we'd never been there. We didn't know it was there. And they had the most beautiful garden center. It was just chock full of everything. I was able to get the 3 plants that I wanted to get for my front porch. And, because my front porch is super shady and everything in Florida gets sun. So
Yeah,
it was so hard to find impatiens
yeah.
because that's all I wanted to put in my little planter box with some impatiens
Mhm.
because it's just
Yep.
complete shade. Holy cow. So that's what we did on Memorial Day was just go do some flower shopping and then hung out with
Well,
the
I have
kids.
I have to finish that tomorrow. But anyway, that's what we've been up to. I hope you
Yes.
enjoyed that because I certainly did. All right. It's time to get into our podcast episode for today.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about weird crochet gifts, but we're mostly going to make this a tribute to dads because they are just the coolest people on the planet
Mhm.
as a general rule. And so we want to pay homage to them today with a little bit of off the beaten path kind of stuff.
Yep.
So and we're going to end the episode with the weird crochet gifts. So don't think this is going to be a whole episode of weird
Oh,
crochet
no.
gifts. It's
No.
just weird stuff all over the place. All
We've
right,
got a whole lineup where we're gonna be talking about dads. So if you wanna share your dad stories, feel free.
put them in the comments. We will share as we go along. But
Mhm.
first, thought we might share some fun facts about
Mhm,
Father's Day. I just kind of trolled the internet a little bit and found 10 fun facts about Father's Day. All right, here's the first one.
mhm.
According to the US Census Bureau, the necktie is the most popular of all Father's Day gifts. Now, why the Census Bureau is taking a poll of what that is, I don't know, but I have to agree because it was always the meme that get your dad a tie. Well,
Well,
I don't know about you, but we don't wear ties much anymore because
no.
everything's pretty cash.
Yeah,
And my
and
husband doesn't
back
go into an office.
I feel like the tie thing was a really, really big, like, I just remember the 50s and 60s era where, you always got dad a tie. Even in the movie, A Christmas Story, for Christmas, "Ah, another
Yeah,
tie, thank you." You know,
yeah,
like,
right.
what else are you gonna get your dad?
I'm sorry, there are only so many ties that one can have. All right, let's try this one out. The origin of the word dad may simply be baby talk,
Mhm.
from dada, originating in infantile or childish speech, is what our Oxford English Dictionary tells us.
I wouldn't
So,
doubt it.
yeah, I always got irritated when my kids said dada before they said mama, but that because I was the one who was doing all the work.
Of
But
course.
that's easier for them to say because they just
Uh-huh.
have to go da da da, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Number 3, there are 1.5 billion fathers worldwide, and 66.3, I don't know how you can have a point, oh, 0.3 million. 66.3 million of those fathers are in the United States. I was going to say, how do you have a point 0.3 father? But they're
It's
talking about,
it's like it's like that, 2.5 children thing.
yeah, exactly. Um, oh, I love this one. And I don't send cards much anymore because I'm just a slacker.
Me
But
too.
Father's Day is the 5th largest card sending occasion in America, with almost 100 million Father's Day cards sent each year.
I wonder, other than Christmas and birthdays
Mother's
and Mother's
Day,
Day, what else?
what would another one would be?
One more.
It wouldn't be Grandparents' Day, would it? Uh,
Thanksgiving? Easter?
I don't know. Do
I
you
don't know
send
either.
Thanksgiving and Easter cards?
I mean, like, the first 3 makes sense above a Father's Day card, but, like, what's the 4th one?
I don't know. Anniversary,
Weird.
maybe?
Oh, that could be. That could be.
That could be. All right. Only 50% of all Father's Day cards are purchased for dads. Nearly 15% of Father's Day cards are purchased for husbands. Other categories include grandfathers, sons, brothers, and uncles. That makes sense. So if a male in your family is a father, you might send him a Father's Day card, even though he's not your father.
Okay, gotcha. So they're talking about
Um,
only 50% of them are purchased by the dad's kids.
yeah, I think
Okay.
so. I think so. And continuing on our card theme, the Father's Day card business will ring up about, I know this is insane, $780 million this year.
That's
I will not
millions.
I will not be buying any cards, so I'm not adding to
I'm
that
not adding to
700.
it either. And without
I'm
us, how are they reaching that amount, right?
I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense.
All right. Oh, this is interesting. According to National Geographic, Father's Day costs less than Mother's Day.
I
I
can
mean,
see
come
that.
on. With individual consumers spending $94.54 and $138.36 respectively. That also seems a little steep to me because I get a flower basket, which I'm perfectly happy with. I love
Mhm.
it, but it is not worth $138.
No, but there's a lot of people who do Mother's Day brunches, they do gifts for
Mm,
mom, they do flowers for mom, they do it's all the little extra things I think together combined would maybe reach
that's
that. And a
That
lot
makes
like,
sense.
we never take dad for lunch. We never think about a Father's Day brunch. I don't think they even have them
No.
in the restaurants
In
around here.
fact, if we do anything, we make them grill because
Right.
that's a thing.
Yes.
It's Father's Day, go grill.
You you love doing this, so now you need to go do this
Please do it.
because you don't want
Okay.
me doing it. Trust me.
All right. One of our favorite authors, famously, Mark Twain, said the following about his father. When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant, I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much he had learned in 7 years.
Isn't that crazy? They get so smart the older we
They
get.
do. Oh my gosh. I have a 14-year-old grandson, and he's not quite to the dad is stupid stage yet, but there are moments when he kind of calls him out on something. And when they get to be college age, they go, oh, they weren't so stupid after all.
Yeah, I mean,
They
they
knew what
and
they kind of knew what they were talking about.
yeah, there is definitely, kind of aging like a fine cheese, you know, when you are a person coming up through your ages where
Does that mean they're stinky? I don't know. I don't
we're like,
know.
you don't wanna tap into that too early because it's just not gonna be right. You gotta wait until they're a little bit older and the rind is perfect.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that was fabulous, Biz. Thank you so much.
You're
All
welcome.
right, so I was gonna do a little bit of history later on, but number 9 gets us there. The idea of Father's Day was conceived by Sonora Smart Dodd, who wanted a special day to honor her father, William Smart, a widowed Civil War veteran left to raise 6 children on his
Ooh,
own. And number 10 gives us the rest of the formula. It wasn't until 1972 that Father's Day in the US, I know it's celebrated in other parts of the world as well, was officially made a US holiday when President Richard Nixon helped set aside the third Sunday in June for dads. So it's not like Easter where we have to, wait with bated breath to find out what Sunday they've decided to put Easter
what
on.
is it this year?
So at least we know that Mother's Day is the second Sunday of May, and Dad's Day is the third Sunday of June. So you
Yep.
can take that to the bank.
I like
There it is.
pre-programmed holidays.
Right.
I really do. I
Exactly.
really do.
All right, I'm gonna get rid of that. And the reason we're doing this episode, I'm gonna give all the credit to you, Biz, because you said it the best yesterday when I was talking to you about this. Um, the quirky side of dads.
Mhm.
Um, I grew up in an era when dad was the head of the household, mom stayed home to keep the house. That was the paradigm. That was what everybody did. That was what was expected. But boy, things have changed
Mhm.
since I was a kid, and dads are really unique creatures.
They
They
are.
really are. And I love what you said. Do you want me to read it, or do you want to
No, go
regurgitate
ahead.
it?
Yeah, you're good.
I love this. While men seem to fall into a few categories for gift giving, being a creative person gives us the chance to stretch ourselves and think outside the box to come up with something different for the dads in our lives. We shouldn't be afraid to make something that's just theirs. Dads deserve the personal touch just like moms do. So I thought it might be a little fun right now for
Mhm.
each of us to share a quirky story about our husband in relationship to how they're a dad.
Yes.
So go, Biz. What
Okay.
does Tony do?
I love to talk about my husband as far as his relationship with his children because he is such a good dad. And I know that when I was pregnant with Stephanie and we didn't know what she was, and he was really hoping for a boy because he's like, I don't know how to deal with a girl. I've never been around a girl before. You know, I don't know what little girls do. I'm like, little girls do what little boys do. We're all the same. It's a kid. So the best thing was that Stephanie was his first child. So he wrestled with her and did the WWE moves and he would pick her up and very gently body slam her into the bed, that kind of stuff, just having
Yeah.
a really great time wrestling with her. And by the time that Tio came along, he was only 20 and a half months later. So it's not like we had a long wait. But when I would go away on a women's retreat with church, and it only happened one weekend a year, but the kids looked forward to it so much because dad was going to be home with them the whole weekend. And when they were home with dad, it was they would do something called yay games. Don't ask me what this is. They would make up some game they were going to do, and then they'd go, yay games. And then they'd go and do this game. The kids still talk about yay games to this day.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
he would chase them all over the house pretending to be an alien that's gonna suck their brains out. And so he would catch them, and like, they talk about this stuff all the time. So my husband, while, if you were to see him walking in Walmart, you would be afraid of him because he's tattooed, he's got the beard, he's got the dark hair, he's very swarthy looking, he's got those piercing blue eyes, and he never smiles, and he's a very unfriendly looking person. When they talk about, excuse my language, resting bitch face, he has it to a T.
It's
So
perfected.
it is perfected, and people usually move out of the way when they see him coming because he's mean looking. But he's such a nerdball on the back end of that. Like, he is such a weirdo, and I love that he allowed himself to be really weird and sensitive and vulnerable in front of his kids while they were growing up because they have the best memories of him.
I wholeheartedly agree. Now, my husband is we always used to make fun of him because he was the guy who tucked his t-shirt into his gym shorts. He's the buttoned up, laced up guy. Hair has to be in place. Everything has to be perfectly done. Now, that doesn't apply to our house. Our house is a giant mess. He doesn't care,
So
all of that. But personal hygiene was all buttoned up. So when we
yeah.
had kids, it was fun to see him kind of come out of his shell. We don't have fun stories like that, but the kids, they did so many things with dad. The boys were always at scouts with him.
Mhm.
They did music stuff with me. It was all kind of it was a little bit of divide and conquer, but it was more I'm as interested in your stuff as you are. And so I'm
Yeah,
going to be a part of that. That was
yeah.
really a cool part of growing up. This you mentioned going away and the kids having to stay with dad.
Yeah.
My oldest son is the one who has the kids, and he's exactly the same way. I'm like, follow the rules, or mom is going to have your panties in a twist here. So you need to just, and dad was always, whatever. So when mom went
Yes.
away, the mice would play.
Yes.
And the same dynamic, it's so hilarious to have a grown son who's got his own kids, because you see the same tendencies. His wife is like me, like, "All right, let's get that
'Cause
done, let's
we
do
have
it."
to be. Who
And
else is gonna do
right,
it?
because it's not gonna be dad. And
No.
my son and my husband are like, "Mom's gonna be away. What do you wanna do? Let's go out for ice cream. Let's go watch a movie.
Yes.
Let's do," all and that I think is a fabulous dynamic.
Mhm.
While I hate being the bad guy,
Mhm.
I think that's a great dynamic to have that, dad can be the fun guy.
Yeah, I completely agree because, yes, I was mostly the disciplinarian, and we joke about it now. Um, and that was I think it was probably a pretty sore subject way back in the day, but but, now we laugh about it. How and he's like, "Why? I discipline the kids." Okay, okay,
Sure
right,
you do.
yeah,
Let's talk
like
about
yeah.
that.
So, but we all survived. We're all here. And the best part about it is that I get to watch my kids become these adults who are gonna carry on these same,
Mhm,
I have a son who's not afraid to share who he is as a man, you know what I mean? Because I have
mhm,
a husband. He had a father who wasn't afraid to share who he is. And
right.
so that's a big deal.
It is. Now
We
I'm gonna
become
add
what we
one
see.
story.
Yeah.
one story that I was telling you, and if you've got a funny story, you can pipe in, but
Okay.
this is very typical of my husband and his relationship with his children. They're getting ready to do something outside. It might be as simple as walking the dog. You go, "I wonder what the weather is outside." I would look out the window and go, "Oh, it's sunny and nice today." My husband will pull out his phone, open the weather app, and go, "Oh, it says," and my daughter just has a conniption every time he does that. It's like, "Dad, just walk out the door." He actually did that one time when he was standing on our patio.
Oh my
He
gosh.
pulled out his phone. It's like,
Well, maybe
yeah."
he's checking for, um excuse me, I had to use a knitting needle to scratch my back. Um, Maybe he's checking for future weather, like, is it supposed to rain down the road? That kind of stuff. No, he just looked at
One no, one would think, I mean, that would be the logical explanation, and no, it's not. It's, what is it doing right now?
Oh, that's hilarious.
I used to walk at you before we had smartphones. I love this. We used to walk out and go, "Is it raining?"
I know!
So, all right. Anyway, we acknowledge that, at least
Mm,
in our two universes, that dads can be quirky, kids are great.
mhm.
We complement each other and how we handle them, and so they deserve to have a day just like mothers have a Mother's Day, and
Absolutely.
all the stops pulled out. All right, so we're going to divert our attention for just a second and talk about the world of crochet, because
Mhm,
what we don't really acknowledge is that there are guys out there who design crochet, and they are incredibly unique individuals.
there's
We thought
tons
we
of them.
just There are lots of them, and they're worth a look-see, because
Mhm,
uh, a lot of them, well, we all kind of design from a place of from our heart. So
mhm,
what interests us? What do we like to do? What yarns do we like to crochet with?
mhm,
What turns us on when it comes to crochet? And guys are no different. They choose things that make them happy and serve their customer, their person. And we thought we would give you a few people to look at.
mhm,
Get out your notepad, write some names down, because
mhm,
some of them does design for men and women.
mhm,
Some of them design exclusively for men, and
mhm,
some of them make amigurumi, which is
mhm.
really, really cool.
Yeah.
So Biz, I'm gonna let you start because you had a couple of really cool names.
Okay, so there's a few of them, and most of mine are overseas people, like Netherlands, Austria, that kind of stuff. Two of them that are in the Netherlands. One is called Den Dennis, Dendennis,
I
and
should
that
put
is,
that in the comments. All right.
and he is the creator of. Gosh, he does so many things, but his most famous is he does a little miniature of himself. He creates this little person. It's almost like a little boy. And so that's his most famous character. And he does it whereas there's like a 4 foot high one of the same thing. But he put out a baby book a couple of years ago that has a whole like what is it called when you make a baby room? What's it called? A nursery.
Mhm.
Um my brain. Woo. But it's in like woodland creatures and it's got blankets and banners and animals and all kinds of stuff. So he has his hand mostly in the amigurumi world. Then there's Martin up north. He's also, I believe, in the Netherlands, and he is an incredible. I want to say he does a lot of graphic, and he does a lot of the oh, what's it called? Mosaic. Ah, okay.
Oh, cool.
He does a lot of the mosaic. He also does a lot of what's the one where you use one long hook? God, my brain is just farting today.
Tu Tunisian.
Tunisian, yes. Okay, so he does a lot of that as well. But his is always extremely interesting graphically. Like
Mhm.
he does really interesting designs. So a lot of blankets, a lot of scarves, a lot of hats. That's his jam. Another one in Austria hit. I don't know if I'm even saying it right. Her wool. So it's HERR dot WOLLE. He does mostly like hats and does some amigurumi, things like that. He branches off and does a bunch of different things. One of my favorites though, and I waited till the very last to bring these guys up because they are hilarious. So Brochet Crochet, and it's BROCHET and then CROXET. So Brochet Crochet. So
Oh my gosh.
the
That's
reason
crazy.
why, and it's a skull with two crisscrossed crochet hooks is their symbol if you're looking them up. So this guy is really, really silly. He does the funniest things, and they make all these little videos where he'll make this little bomb and he'll throw it at his friend, and his friend will all of a sudden blow up, and there's red yarn hanging out of his mouth. And so like there's no blood or anything, but it's red yarn to symbolize blood. And he picks up like a crocheted hand or a crocheted intestine or a crocheted heart. And like, like he got blown up. And I'm sorry, but I find that kind of stuff absolutely hilarious. I
Oh
am
my
a
gosh.
10-year-old boy in a 52-year-old woman's body. It's just hilarious to me. And he does some really gross stuff, and then he does some just really silly stuff. Like he made a broad axe, that you can pretend to hit somebody over the head with, and he hit somebody over the head, and of course their head has red yarn coming out of it. Now it's just, I'm sorry, it's hilarious. And you know me, I like horror. It's one of my favorite genres. So this kind of stuff cracks me up, but they're my favorite right now. There is another friend of ours. Well, I don't know if you know him or not, but Not House KNOT, Not House Crafts. His name is John, and he is an amigurumi designer, and you can find him on Facebook or Instagram as well.
Okay, help me out because I'm putting these in the comments. So spell that one KNOT.
KNOT and then House and then Crafts. He does crocheted plushies, patterns, and he makes felt eyes as well.
Perfect. All right, that's a good list. I mean, I don't know much about these guys, but that I
Mhm,
found these. I have seen
mhm.
Not Bad,
Yeah. I
KNOTBAD,
started
and
following him when he was brand new.
he does amigurumi.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know many crocheters who don't know. Why is that not? Oh, it's still thinking. The crochet dude.
Oh, yeah. Drew and
And
Borsky?
I just looked up his website, and he has really great designs for women and men,
Yep,
garments, things like that.
yep.
The crochet dude. Um, there were a couple I found in Tony Lipsky's on a blog post that she had written. The Stitched Stud.
Mhm. I don't know who that is.
I don't know. His name is Charles Voth.
Alright, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm
All
gonna go
right,
look him up.
Stitch Stud, and Gregory Stitch, aka Thomas Hamilton, aka Gregory Stitch. So I'm going to put that one here. These guys are worth a look-see. Okay, there's the last one I have. And the kinds of things that these guys, I also looked up the Yarn Whisperer because I've seen some Instagram
Yeah,
posts of his and
yeah,
love his Instagram posts. But he's an independent yarn dyer
yeah.
in the UK. So, if you're looking to get some really special yarn from a
Mhm.
guy, he's the guy. Um, and that's the end of my list. But they do blankets, garments for men and women,
Mhm.
amigurumi, men's accessories. I love seeing a guy's design for a guy of hats and scarves.
Mhm.
They tend to push the limit more than we do.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, for sure.
and I just love seeing their stuff.
Well, because I think
So,
that to a certain degree, women get very stuck in the loop of, well, it has to be really studly looking. It has to be manly looking. It
mm,
has to be, it's got to be bark and bullets and guns and you know. So, and it doesn't. There are a lot of men who really enjoy like the smaller, a little bit lacier head caps and things like that. I
mhm,
know that one of my most popular patterns is a kippah pattern, which is like a head covering for Jewish or Muslim followers, and it's extremely ornate. It has a lot of pattern and texture in it, and it's kind of, I want to say, it's not really girly, but I think it has a little bit more of that flow to it just because of some of the stitches. But we
right.
just, like how you said, men really go where they want to go. And
Mhm.
anytime that we're kind of struggling to think of, well, what would I make for a man? Go look at a man designer. What
Go
is he
see the
making?
yeah,
What is
yeah,
he like?
yeah. I love the possibilities because 'cause they're really
Mhm.
cool. Alright, well, I think we're finally to the part where we're gonna talk a little bit about weird gifts.
Mhm.
So, this is beyond I mean, when I think of Father's Day gifts, I go right to the typical stuff. I've never done a tie as a crochet gift. Um, Scarves, hats,
Yeah.
um, aprons for grilling,
Mm.
that grilling set where you have the those are big.
Yeah.
Um, car accessories, things like that. But there are other things that
Yes.
we can do that are beyond the tie. Now, you and I had talked a little bit about designers we know that kind of cater to the
Yeah.
weirder. We don't mean weird in the sense that it's, on another planet. It's
Oh,
just
right, right.
outside the norm
Right.
of what we would normally think of, right? So, two of our favorite designers, and there
Mhm.
may be more, is Lisa of Green Fox Farms Designs. I'll put
Mhm.
that in the comments so you can see. She's got some great stuff that could be
She does.
purposed um, for guys. And
Mhm.
Biz, talk a little bit about Sonia Blackstone.
Sonia Blackstone, she's got some of the most fun things for gift giving. She's one of my favorite people. She does, I wanna say she has her hand on everything. She does clothing, she does accessories, she does houseware, she does everything. She does gift giving. Um, but one of the fun things that she does is she makes these gift baskets that are like the bottom legs of a person. So,
Yeah,
say you have a fisherman in your family and you want to get him some fisherman stuff, or you just want to make a candy basket, or you want to get him his favorite beer, or you want to get him his favorite soda pop, whatever. You can fill these legs up, and the little holder is got like waiter boots on, and then there's a little, it's like the bottom of the fishing jacket, and there's a little fishing pole. It's just the cutest thing. She's got them for firemen, policemen, military, coaches, everything. I swear to God, she's got something for everybody, and they're all just a little bit different, and they're so
yeah.
cute.
And I suspect that when you make one, you get the
Hmm.
basic idea of how it's put together, and then the ornaments on it
Hmm.
make it something different.
Yeah. I mean, she does have some base, I think there's some base patterns, but each one of them is really unique. So I'm not
Mhm.
sure that she's just, other than maybe the legs, I don't know that the rest of it is all one, base pattern or not. So,
That's what I was talking about, the legs. When you're talking about the person, the legs are
mhm.
probably the basic part of it that then
Mhm.
she takes on other aspects of that particular profession.
But that would be just be
Um,
something fun that's different than
mhm.
what he always gets. Like, do you we have certain gift giving traditions in our family. Like my son, every Christmas, he gets us a bag with our favorite chips, our favorite candy, our favorite soda, that
Aw.
kind of, every year. That's what he does. So like if that's the kind of gift giver you are, where you have kind of a set routine of what you do, then maybe spruce it up, make a pair of legs, make him something that's in something he really loves to do.
Yeah, and then after that, after he's eaten whatever's in it or used
Mhm,
whatever's in it, he can repurpose it for holding things next to his favorite recliner or bedside
mhm.
table or whatever.
Yep.
Um, all right, we have a list of things that we can go through. These are just some of our ideas. I'm not going to put these in the comments.
Mhm.
You can kind of scroll back. This is the 40-minute mark, so you can scroll back and listen to what we had to say.
Yep.
But I know beer cozies, soda cozies, beer cozies are really
Mhm.
popular. And
Yes.
those I've seen them as hooded sweaters,
Mhm.
as jackets, as having special symbols on them. It's the sky's the limit when it comes to beer cozies, and they're
Mhm.
really small. I mean, it
Mhm.
doesn't take long to put one together. Um, Funny hats.
Okay,
So
so
you had mentioned this.
when you say that, what makes me think of is, and it's just coming back in style and it's so cheesy, but you remember those beer can caps that they used to make where they would just cut out a section of the beer
Yes,
and then they would crochet those things
yes.
are coming back. They're so retro. I'm just gonna call them retro.
Oh
They're
my
so
gosh.
retro, but people are weird and they love what they love, you know? So, you
Yep.
know, think about something like that. Or I know my husband is so weird. Make one of those hats that has the little things and then you can put little cups in there and then there's little straws that come down.
Yes.
You know,
So you can grill and have your
heck
beverage
yeah.
at hand, at hat. I don't know.
At that. Sky's the limit.
Now, along our theme of beer, you had mentioned Moogly has a six-pack holder,
Yes.
and
And it's
that's
such a nice
great.
little set.
It's great too because it would keep the beers cold
Uh-huh.
in transport.
So
So cool.
it's just to kind of explain it because we're not going to show it. It's rectangular. It holds 6 beer bottles or soda pops, whatever. And it has this handle. It looks like a little brown bag. It looks like I haven't made it and I probably should, but it looks like it's extremely sturdy and
Mhm.
I've been meaning to make one for ages and ages. So it's on my to-do list.
So that one is by Moogly,
Yep.
Moogly. That's a designer you need to pay attention to. I'm gonna whip
Yeah.
through a few of these. Stop me if you want to. Rear view mirror hangers. Now you have to be careful with those because there are states that have laws that say you can't
Mhm.
have anything hanging down because it technically obstructs your
Yep.
view. But things like that,
Right.
keychains are super popular right now. So there shouldn't be any problem
Yes.
finding some examples of that. Quick last minute gift. Lisa in her shop has gaming supplies. She has a D&D dice bag that is really
Mhm.
cool. I think she said it was her most popular pattern. Um,
Fun.
be I know a couple of my kids play D&D, and that would be an awesome thing to do. Um, Stuff to watch TV. So mainly, you can make
Yeah, my
a
son.
holder, a remote control holder that fits
Mhm.
over the recliner or couch arm, so it's at the ready. A fun
Mhm.
story for me, not related to my husband. This is just me. We have Apple TV, and the remote for that thing, I
Uh-huh.
swear to you, is this big. It's teeny tiny. It's
Oh my god.
smaller than a credit card, right?
Oh,
And
that's
really thin.
ridiculous.
And we just set it on the arm of one of our chairs when we leave the room,
Uh-huh.
not the TV stand like that would be logical, right? So the grandkids were over one day last year.
Oh,
No, I say
no.
last year, and that all of a sudden the Apple TV remote's gone. And I had the feeling it was on the arm and went down into the chair, but I
Yeah.
swear, pulled that sucker apart, couldn't find it anywhere.
Oh my
1
gosh.
year later, 1 year, so we're now changing the channel. Thankfully, iPhones have an app for
Yes.
that. You can change the Apple TV with the remote app
Yeah.
on your phone. That's great. But then my oldest grandson looks over at my chair one day and there's a flap on the back and he goes, "Grandma, I think I see something." He pulls out this Apple remote. I mean, those things are like 60, $70 to replace.
Oh my gosh.
And so I didn't, but in my I could have used that remote control arm thing. I need to, yeah,
Yes.
get one.
So now you
Oh
need to make you
gosh.
one.
I apparently I do.
That's
Okay,
an everybody
that was my
gift.
story. Yeah.
That's funny.
All right. Pillows to take a nap because dads need to fall asleep in their recliners. That's a thing.
Every Sunday.
And along with that theme, how about slippers?
Mhm. My husband
Yep.
loves a good pair of slippers. He's always cold.
Yep. Which is interesting in Florida, but okay. Um, and we're just gonna put tag on the end of this, just anything that makes dad feel special. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be big and fancy and expensive, just anything that takes an interest of theirs, something that they do,
Yes.
something that they like, and personalize that gift
Mhm.
so that they know you thought of them when you made that.
Right, exactly. I mean, even if I know that ornaments might be a little outside of the norm at this time. However, I like to give ornaments all year long. We just hold them aside and wait till
Mhm.
Christmas and stick them on the tree. But you could give a
Yep.
football ornament, a golf ball ornament. You could make an ornament
Uh-huh.
for them as well.
Yep. Especially if they're sports guys, just pick the
Hmm.
sport. You can make an ornament. Yeah, the possibilities are endless. So
Hmm.
you can even crochet them a tie. We're not poo-pooing the tie. We're just saying, think outside the box a little
We
bit.
are
So if you
neither saying no nor saying yes to the tie. We are
well, let's just say
neutral.
we're not tie averse.
Oh, there we go. We're Switzerland when it comes to the tie.
Oh.
We don't have an opinion.
We do not. All right. So if you have any weird out of the ordinary gifts, pop them
Mhm.
into the comments. If you're
Absolutely.
watching the replay, pop them into the comments on YouTube. We would love to see what you have to offer. And if you
Yes.
think of any men who design crochet that you just absolutely adored, would love to share. We
Yes.
want to hear
Let
from
us
you. So
know
make sure that you include those in the comments. We'd love to hear from you
for sure.
anytime. All right. Well, Biz, it's that time where we ask the question, what have you been watching?
You've been watching. Um,
Huh?
I have we know that I've been kind of avoiding the murder shows for a little while just because I wanted to kind of get away from the negativity, but I'm almost done with HGTV's Next Design Star. That's on Prime and Discovery, in case you want to watch it. The one thing I will say, after watching this show fairly regularly, I have realized that I don't like my house. And
That's the downside.
isn't that the horrible part? You look around, you're going, oh my God,
Wow,
this
I
has to
didn't even
change.
think to coordinate that.
Right? So I've got some ideas and I'm going to be changing my living room around because I don't want it that way anymore. Um, so I know giving myself work by watching TV. And then at night, Tony is not so much a lover of the HGV, the Next Star thing. So we watched the cooking competition on Max. Guy Fieri. It's a tournament of champions where
Mm,
all the hoity-toity chefs from all over come together and they compete against each other to see who's the best of the best of the best. And it's a single elimination, so they make one dish and they get, it's a blind judging, all that stuff. So it's kind of fun to see who gets beaten, goes on. And so that's what we do. And then we get lots of cooking ideas. I mean, because we love to
mhm.
cook. And my husband just like sits there and soaks up all this weird foodie stuff. And he's like, "Oh, I could do that and I can add that." And we've realized that um we only use one soy sauce, and there's about four more out there that we need to find now because there's a sweet and there's a savory and there's a something something soy sauce and I don't know. There's a bunch of different soy sauces. and we like to cook Asian food quite a bit in our house. So that's, I once again making work for myself.
You might want to take a break at some point from cooking and designing shows because you're going to cause yourself a lot of extra work.
I know. I know.
But it is fun to watch those and get some ideas because I was making up my weekly menu yesterday morning thinking, my goodness, I've got the same 10 dishes that I'm rotating through. Let's mix it up a little bit. So
Yes. Yes.
I need to get some ideas.
That's what happens to us too, is I get sick of it. I'm like, I want to look at that again. Don't feed that to me.
Well,
So,
I specialize in soups. I love making
oh,
soups.
I love soup.
It is not soup weather anymore, and I'm not particularly a fan of cold soups.
Oh,
So
yeah.
now I
Borscht.
have to really think about it and figure out what I'm gonna make, but you know what? We're good.
But other than that, when I'm not watching my handy dandy help yourself shows, I'm on a zombie kick right now. So
Uh, oh,
yeah.
alright.
So I rotate my sci-fi subjects on a fairly regular basis, and you know, vampires, werewolves, aliens, that's kind of where I live, and zombies. I'm not a big fan of like the kaijus and the Godzillas and the King Kongs. I don't really do all of that, but right now it's zombies.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Well, we were so pooped from moving and hosting on Memorial Day that I think we all went to bed instead of watching TV. But we've basically just it's either baseball or fluff at this point. Um, because we just don't have the energy at the moment. We are watching reruns of White Collar, and that's gotten, I think we're in the 3rd season, and it's really it's fun how they've reinvented the storyline so it doesn't get past its prime.
Yeah,
Um, so help me, Todd, catching up on episodes of that. I need to catch up on Elsbeth. Just, dramas that they're dramedies. So
yeah,
they're
yeah,
really funny, really funny. So help me, Todd is just a genius show. So is Elsbeth, but um, we're watching Fluff. The Phillies had a moment. They were the best team in baseball, as I said last week,
right.
just killing everybody. They go out to play the Rockies, the worst team in baseball, and they lose 3 games in a row. Like,
Oh
what is
no.
wrong with this picture?
Oh no.
They redeemed themselves. I think it was a 4-game series. They or maybe it was San Diego. At any rate, they played a they needed a break apparently. And so they're back.
Oh, that's
So
hilarious.
they just 3 games in a row and everybody's of course the sports world's going, "Oh my god, we have the most chill manager on the planet." His name's Rob Thompson. You've probably never heard of him because he's the most chill guy on the planet. And the reporters, of course, are sticking microphones in his face going, "Oh my god, what are you gonna do?" It's just he goes, "It's a moment. They'll be fine." And that was it. Everybody goes,
Oh my
"Oh,
gosh.
okay, whatever."
Not feeding the rumor mill. Back off.
Yeah, he's not gonna be the controversial guy. He just kinda sits there and does his thing, and nobody knows he's there, so
Well, I mean, that's a good manager to be. I like managers that are just matter of facty, kind of not stirring the pot people.
yeah, and we don't have a team that stirs the pot, so it's a pretty mild-mannered but really good team, so
That's exciting. I excited to
yeah.
hear how they do this year.
Alright, well, fingers crossed. So,
Yeah. Alrighty.
alright, my friend, we have come to the end of our episode, and it's been a blast to share our thoughts on Father's Day, on our
Yes.
husbands and dads and all of that kind of stuff, and share a few ideas for you. You still have a few weeks,
Yeah.
so go search
I'm
the internet for all of the possibilities for something, even if it's a tie, it's okay. But if you want to do something a little off the beaten path, we hope we've given you some ideas to personalize that gift for that special guy.
yes.
So, With
Make
that
it
in mind, we're
quirky.
gonna say goodbye for now, and we will see you next week when we're back for There's No Crying in Crochet. Bye,
Yay!
everybody. Bye,
Bye. Have
Liz.
a great weekend.